It's CARICOM Energy Week, and the information on conservation and energy sources was shared with youngsters recently.
Energy conservation is a major part of these discussions.
To see how they can help their parents and at schools in saving on the electricity bills.
We will ensure to use the information they have taught us in our daily lives.
Let us all play our part to save on energy. You are inside Jamaica Magazine. Adrian Atkinson is my name. And as we go into our full package, take a look at this.
Guys, I'm not ready.
Ready a long time. Let's go. Ready, Mona?
Yeah. Oh, Shelly, I have a file for you for tomorrow, okay?
All right.
I'm gonna leave it on your desk.
Sure, go right ahead.
But Shelly, you don't shut down the computer.
But it not gonna do nothing.
But of course, when you leave it on, it burns excess energy.
I say go?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you know that the country foots the bill to import the fuel that produces electricity? Let's all play our part to conserve on energy by ironing once per week, unplugging all appliances when not in use, and avoid keeping the refrigerator open for a long period of time when removing food. Get smart. Don't get left in the dark.
It's time to join Andrea Chisholm at the news desk for updates on government business.
Good day, I'm Andrea Chisholm and this is your JIS News for Thursday, November 12. Government has signed a $250,000 agreement with the Inter-American Development Bank to craft a 10-year development plan for the health sector. It will strengthen the planning process mainly in the areas of primary healthcare renewal, non-communicable diseases and clinical management. An oversight steering committee has been put in place to deliver the plan within 6 months. The committee includes members from all sectors of society, including government, the opposition, the medical profession, and main health associations. When completed, the plan will be presented at public fora for wide consensus.
I'm looking forward to great things in the health sector. I'm looking forward to cooperation in the health sector from all. And I say to the people of Jamaica, be not daunted, we are going to make it right.
The National Housing Trust's loan ceiling has been increased from $4.5 to $5.5 million for new applicants purchasing houses in new housing developments or those constructing new housing units. Interest rates for all categories of new borrowers have also decreased by 1%. Minister responsible for information, Senator Sandria Faulkner, revealed Cabinet's decision at a Jamaica House media briefing Wednesday.
The average NHT contributor requires more money to pursue their home ownership dream. In addition to improving affordability, the new measures will also help to stimulate construction startups and generate employment in the important construction industry.
Some 20,000 Jamaicans took up the National Water Commission's amnesty, which ran from July 1 to October 9.
For that same period, approximately 16,000 new payments were reflected on accounts with no payment history for at least 12 months. In addition, the overall number of service orders generated for the 3-month period was in excess of 12,000.
Under the NWC's amnesty, customers received a debt write-off of up to 60%. Portfolio Minister Robert Pickersgill was speaking Tuesday as he signed a contract to continue the Kingston Metropolitan Area Water Supply Improvement Project. This time around, a $7.2 million contract was signed with Derek A. Gibson to supply 50,000 solid-state water meters. Minister Pickersgill said the new water meters can be read remotely and will be more accurate.
We have received some complaints that instead of reflecting current usage, in some cases an estimate of the previous month's bill is generated. These meters will put an end to this, particularly in cases where properties are inaccessible by the NWC personnel.
4 basic schools in Trelawney are now benefiting from $102.2 million worth of upgrades. The 229 students and teachers are from the Dutch Hill New Testament Church of God, Ulster Spring, Raymouth Notice, and the Clarence Brim Basic Schools. Funding for the new classrooms, sanitary facilities, water tanks, perimeter fencing, plus other upgrades were provided through a partnership between the Jamaica Social Investment Fund and the Education Ministry.
We are investing as never before in early childhood education because we want the little children to start out right so they will turn out bright.
Students at the Clancarthy Primary School were educated on the types of energy sources and given conservation tips during a wrap session with Energy State Minister Julian Robinson on Monday. The event was the first in a series of CARICOM Energy School tours to mark Energy Week. Minister Robinson highlighted the importance of sharing this type of information at the primary level.
Part of this program is to come into schools to share ideas about energy conservation, to get youngsters, students from this age, to be conscious of energy conservation and how they can contribute from their level, and to see how they can help their parents and at schools in saving on the electricity bills.
In endorsing the tour, Principal Sheldon Richards said the information shared with students reinforced lessons from the school's curriculum.
Energy conservation is a part of their curriculum in grade 5. So what he has done, he has actually taken some of this information off the pages and brought it to their lives.
And finally, approximately $4 million was spent by the Universal Access Fund to establish a community access point CAP in Manchester. Students at the Mandeville Craft Institute, which is operated by the Heart Trust NTA, now have access to 14 computers at the lab. The computer lab is the 235th CAP site opened on the island with a demand for 600 more. Portfolio Minister Philip Powell used the occasion to urge individuals and business persons to take advantage of the broadband connectivity and technology.
We want companies now to look at Mandeville, to look at the tremendous opportunity we have here to create not only low-level data entry work, but we want to rise up to business process outsourcing and ultimately into software development.
And that's it for GIS News today. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Thank you for watching.
Don't make diseases spread. Wash your hands with soap and water instead. Wash them regular or use a hand sanitizer. Make sure the germs them dead. Touching your eyes or your mouth or your nose. Wash your hands before you do things like those. After you use the bathroom before preparing food, come on, wash your hand them clean.
Grow what we eat what we grow is a campaign being promoted by the Ministry of Agriculture. Part of this campaign encourages persons to get involved in backyard and container farming, as well as using up any available land space. Zephaniah Gibson demonstrates this very well and has a message to share. Here's his story.
All this from just 3 peas.
While we're coming, I saw 2 grain of peas on the road and I picked it up. I take it home with me and I planted it beside my Callaloo garden at the home.
This was in 1982 and the 3rd pea was found just a few days later at the same spot.
I saw a sucker. I just take my machete, take it up like that, and I hold it like that and go to the field. And I planted it there. And that's how I started. From then, I keep planting and keep planting, and I buy a cow out of it, I raise chickens out of it, and I feel delighted to keep on doing it. As the message is that we might not have the wing way of life to fly up, but with small grains and have the courage to do it, we can reach somewhere.
Words of wisdom from Zephaniah Gibson, affectionately called Reuben, which somehow evolved into Benjamin. This West Rural St. Andrew farmer is proof positive that big things can come from small starts. It's a message he's eager to share, using his success as an example, from 3 peas planted in 1982 to close to 1 acre being sown and reaped today. It's a journey that has been documented in a manuscript titled Benjamin's Adventure.
And it born out of a desire to help those who are lazy. You don't want to do anything. And you say, this little morsel or this little, it's too green, it's too small to start with. But Benjamin started with it. And it never hard, it wasn't hard to do it for me because I love farming. And here is it today. Rain in abundance.
Mr. Gibson, or Benjamin, is a farmer at heart, working the soil every chance he gets.
I would not live nowhere if I don't have even a square like this to plant something. I don't want it to live. No. Planting is my nature and I enjoy. And every day, you know what is big thing? 365 days make a year. And last year I've never bought 1 grain of peas, heating my rice and peas.
And this passion has him planting just about anything.
If you want me to cut it, make it very pretty. And it's 10 pumpkin come under 1 tree. So I picked up 3 already. This is the 4th one, and I have 6 more. This is a blue and white Sylvans. This yam heat very delicious.
Mr. Gibson embodies the Ministry of Agriculture's Grow What We Eat What We Grow campaign. From his humble farm, he has been able to feed his family and provide for them from the sale of his produce.
I use the farm as a source of backup along with my trade. I am a skilled stone mason. I do painting otherwise and masonry. Looking back, if I had to do it over again, I would still do it because I thank God He gave me the strength to do it and the courage to do it. I'm a happy farmer. I'm a happy Benjamin.
At home in Salisbury Plain District, St. Andrew, his wife gives him the support he needs.
We prayed and asked God to bless whatever He put in the earth. And I know that the Lord did what we have asked Him for. Little is much when God is in it. I didn't plan to marry a farmer, but I have no regrets. He's very hardworking and willing to do. When he reap the crop, I sit down and I shell out the peas them, and then we put it to sun, and sometimes we sell it to neighbors and sometimes far out. And he saves his money, and that helps support us very well, and I thank God for that. We live as a loving people, helpful to each other, anything we share among ourselves.
Things are good now, but Zephaniah Gibson has had moments of hardship, like losing a whole field of young plants to heavy rainfall. But he got up and got to planting again.
Although I am not down on my face, I am not going to lie there. I am going to stand tall and fight on. I said, courage, brother, do not falter. I still decided not to stop because food is a must. Food must come from somewhere and it must be planted. You can join the ranks too. Stop digging out your hand, Miguel. Join the ranks. Stop wasting time. Farm the land to feed your friend.
Mr. Shirley, me get the invitation to America. What?
You know the passport?
A passport is one of the most important forms.
Here at PICA, we believe in excellent customer service. So when we wanted our customers to know about us, we approached the GIS and they delivered, and we got excellent value for money. And so we encourage you to go to the GIS, a one-stop shop for media services. They have print, radio, television, and so much more.
Up next is a discussion on the impact of diabetes in children. Andrew Chisholm leads us into that conversation with Professor Errol Morrison.
Some people think diabetes is an old age condition, but not so. It's actually pretty common in children. In fact, the World Health Organization says millions of children across the world have diabetes, but many parents do not know that their children are living with the disease. Do you know that approximately 2% of adolescents, young people between 15 and 19 years old in Jamaica, have diabetes? That's what we hear from the Ministry of Health. To deal with the problem, this government body has been regularly promoting healthy lifestyle practices. The strategy is meant to reduce or prevent the incidence of diabetes in children. Diabetes is a lifestyle disease that is affecting a number of Jamaicans, both children and adults. Doctors say you're diabetic if your pancreas is not producing enough insulin. Here to tell us more about this condition is Professor Errol Morrison, President of the Diabetes Association of Jamaica. Professor Morrison, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
What are the different types of diabetes and which is more common in children?
Just before I get into that, in your introduction, you said if the pancreas is not producing enough insulin. But there are other situations where the pancreas is producing adequate insulin, but the body is not using it properly. So, you know, that right away differentiates the two. And when we begin to speak about children in particular, which is our focus today, we are talking mostly about where the pancreas is not producing insulin, so you're dead on. Now, why does the pancreas not produce enough insulin? It can be a variety of reasons. Most commonly, in children, it might simply be an infection. You might be surprised to hear that certain viral illnesses, even the good old mumps and the flu, can result in damage to the pancreas, and thus it won't function. Having just explained the underlying cause, these are categorized in two main types. Where the pancreas is not able to function because it's damaged, that is type 1, which is where the individual will need the injection of insulin. You have to put back what the pancreas would normally produce. That's type 1. Where the young person is now gaining weight and developing the diabetes because of the lifestyle, that's type 2. In bygone days, you never heard of type 2 in children. And that's why we're so concerned now that you're seeing both the types 1 and 2 in the young.
How can you prevent it in your children?
What we need to do is to reach out to parents, guardians, friends, peers, all those who, for example, suspect that they may be more prone to developing diabetes. If there's a family history, mother, father, aunt, cousin with diabetes, then you should be advising these young children, watch out, you know, keep your weight down. How are you going to do that? More physical activity. Let's get out and play cowboy and Indians again, right? Instead of just watching all the computers and so on at the parties. Get them into more games.
Now I speak life over this country, and we cancel every untimely death. No more you pick them and go turn worthless, and faith will find money for send them go U-Tech. I declare the greatest scrap of future leaders rising up from this generation of youth. Holy men and women, visionaries here, we speak it, and there must be a godly fruit. So for the next 50 years of our claim to fame, say make this one thing remain. When we say, Eternal Father, bless our land and guide us in the Father's name. Keep watching Jamaica Magazine.
Jamaica, among the top 10 most improved economies in the world.
That's right, our island's business environment has advanced to the extent that the World Bank has noticed. The multilateral agency has named Jamaica one of the most improved economies globally in which to do business in its newly released Doing Business Report 2016. This ranking is attributed to Jamaica's implementation of 4 major reforms over the past year. Investors have noticed too and are coming on board. So let's continue to work together to make Jamaica the place of choice to do business.
Exposure to high levels of noise and dust is not good for our health. The good news is that technology has enabled us to monitor these pollutants in order to minimize the health risks.
The thick, black, acrid smoke rising from the tail end in front of you. The cloud of dust shooting up from the construction site across the road. The unseen particles in the air. Environmental pollutants that can lead to serious health problems. Over the years, a whole host of measures have been employed to reduce the risks, but still we are not out of the woods. But increasingly, technology is being applied to the problem, and the developments are encouraging.
People who are exposed to pollutants in the environment can have different types of reactions, depending on the level of exposure, like the time and duration.
So the effects of pollutants have prompted the government to draft new public health regulations. One particular piece of legislation in the works, targeting cigarette smoke, represents a major step forward in discouraging smoking in public places.
We must bear in mind that every health impact has a cost related. For some of them, studies will have to be done to determine the exact cost on each health outcome.
At Green Expo 2011, where the focus was on environmental protection and preservation, firms displayed the latest technology to help clear the air, literally. Air quality is important. And in an office setting where most of us spend the majority of our day, testing for balance in temperature and humidity is key. Emphasis should also be placed on detecting bacteria or fungi in the air that may lead to ailments.
The meter is able to analyze and log temperature, carbon dioxide, relative humidity, dew point, and carbon monoxide, all in real time. If the temperature is too high, people complain. If the temperature is too low, people complain. If humidity is too high, people tend to feel clammy, and so this can affect workers' performance in the office.
An acceptable indoor office temperature is anywhere from 22.8 degrees Celsius to 26.1 degrees Celsius, while relative humidity should be between 30 and 60%. The risk of carbon monoxide poisoning is a critical reason for the importance of air quality testing, especially in factories or power plants that give off fumes or smoke. Dry periods, construction sites, and newly built housing schemes all have one thing in common. They expose us to unwanted dust. Long-term or overexposure can lead to serious risks such as asthmatic conditions and damage to the lungs. And though the naked eye can't see the magnitude of our contact, dust meters are able to capture that information.
This machine in particular examines dust particles of 10 micrometers or less. A micrometer is 1/1000th of a millimeter, and at that size, particles are able to bypass the nose hairs and get into your lungs, which can cause long-term respiratory ailments. And data from this machine is particularly useful because it is a US EPA referenced standard, so data from it can actually hold up in a court of law. How the ambient air sampler works is that there's a vacuum down here which sucks in air through these pores, and it is placed onto a filter, and we weigh this filter before use and after use and do a calculation based on a time-weighted average, which gives us a dust reading in milligrams per meter cubed. The more data we collect and the more accurate this data allows us to monitor our environment better and mitigate against negative environmental impacts.
We use technology to
to quicken in terms of our studies. Also, we find that employing technology improves our quality of work that we produce.
To mitigate against these exposures, people can wear protective gear where it is necessary. In our own homes and offices, we can mitigate against the amount of dust that would accumulate by having regular cleaning.
The greatest thing is to know. Being aware of what's in your air could save your lungs and keep you healthy.
Did you know climate change is decreasing the quality and quantity of water?
Climate change is expected to affect all aspects of food security, especially in the tropical region of which we are a part.
Climate change-related hazards such as prolonged droughts, more severe storms, and the overall irregularity of rainfall. These climatic stressors have resulted a reduction of water in our rivers and watersheds.
Youth, we are depending on you to spread the message of climate change and its impacts. Be a climate change agent in your home, school, or community. With climate change, we must change.
Nobody want to plant the can. Everybody want to read the band. Who you are go blame it on when it's a next man you are deep in pan. Well, you're wrong.
Farmers, let us be serious about predial larceny. It is affecting all of us. If you are aware of incidents of predial larceny, make contact with your local police station or call Crime Stop at 311. Predial larceny is everybody's business.
No mind if me stall. Them no business if me back against the wall. This I live in sometime making me ball. Seems like there ain't no love.
Take some time to meditate on these words from Chinese philosopher Confucius as we close the show for today. The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential. These are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. And while you're at it, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm, and keep sending your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.